Hey guys, so I've been watching House, and to say the least, it's an experience. I've been really enjoying the show, and I want to go over the first two seasons and just a little bit of the third season to just say what I actually think about not every episode, but key moments inside the show. So let's get to it. Notable moments in season one include House flirting with a nun, House getting bribed by the mafia, House saving a patient's life and getting sued for it, and the big bad villain of this season is a black business owner who's also a billionaire who wishes to run a hospital as a business. There are some negatives of this season. However, this first season, pretty damn good. At the end, we get introduced to House's ex, which is slightly foreshadowed and talked about during the entire season. The top rated episode, called Three Stories, is actually a pretty exceptional episode of House basically recounting the story of what happened to his leg and what caused him to basically start popping pills and, well, Vicodin, like a madman, let's just say. And overall, first season, I would rate it a nice 9 out of 10. I'm not the best with ratings, however, I did enjoy this season. It was a very fun season. Now, season 2, I personally have really enjoyed this season. Notable things that have happened in the season: House saves the life of a death row prison inmate. He actually had a adrenal tumor or something like that that caused him to actually get extremely physically violent. Chase kisses a 9-year-old cancer patient girl because she requested him to do so, as she feared she was going to die. Chase ends up accidentally killing a woman for his own negligence, as his father died that day. He was assessing this female patient and he made a blunder which did not help with the diagnosis of what is wrong with her, and she ended up dying. House is obsessed with a old enemy of his who stopped him from achieving a higher grade, a higher thing later on in life, as he got snitched on for probably malpractice or something along like that. And during this episode, House induces a migraine to a coma patient to test out the old enemy's new drug to prevent migraines, and he also induces a migraine onto himself, as that is the most smart thing to do. And he proceeds to just suffer for the next like few days on this migraine that he induced on himself, just to prove to his old enemy that his drug does not work. House also gets way too close and weirdly perverted with this 15, 16-year-old female model. And as it turns out, the reason why this female model is so beautiful, quote unquote, is because she is also a male and her body does not produce a single bit of testosterone, and so all has prominent estrogen induced physical appearances. The first two-parter of the series appears in season 2 as it's called Euphoria. And no, it's not the hit show co-produced by Drake himself, where teenagers have sex and do drugs. It's actually about a policeman who gets a parasite that causes him to feel euphoria and is rather euphoric, and then gets excruciating pain. And Foreman, one of the main casts, also gets this illness. And I'm going to praise the acting of Omar Epps, as he really puts it in his all during this episode. I mean, literally, level of acting this man puts on during the part one and part two of this Euphoria episodes is amazing. I totally recommend watching this. It was amazing watch. I was honestly scared that the form and character was going to die. It was a great episode, and it had a conclusion that didn't just end with just everything being good and happy. There are some slight after effects of what happened to Foreman himself. Great episode. It's one of the highest rated episodes in this season, and just a great watch. And now, the final episode of season two, and this was a really great watch. It's House hallucinating after he got shot by his ex patient for basically telling his wife that he was cheating on her and she ended up killing herself. At least that's what I'm pretty sure happened. It doesn't get exactly explained because this could have just still been the hallucination talking. However, this episode was amazing to watch and rather trippy. It was really interesting to watch House talk to himself and try to process that he's actually in a hallucination, and what does he want to do? Does he want to cling on to life, or does he want to die? I mean, he already has all this leg pain and it just feels horrible. And so, the conclusion of this episode, House actually wakes up from his hallucination, induced by getting shot in the neck and in the stomach, and proceeds to ask for ketamine. However, this isn't a funny because it's actually to have House have a coma, to get put in a medically induced coma so that his body can kind of reset. There is a in-universe explanation of some German practices trying to see if this actually works on patient to, I don't know, repair their bodies, for example, to repair House's leg. And so we end off with House saying, tell Cuddy to give me ketamine. And that's it. That's the end of the season two. It was a great season. I personally would have to say it was a great season because of Euphoria, the two-parter, and the very last episode. It let the season go off with a bang, and it was great. The bad things in this season must have been the really weird PDF files stuff where Chase kisses a 9-year-old cancer patient, and House talks really inappropriately about a 15, 16-year-old female patient. I think it's super fucking gross, and I hope I don't see any of that going further on. Season 3. Now, I'm only 5 episodes into season 3, however, it's been pretty damn good so far. We start off with seeing someone jogging. And who is that jogging? It's fucking House. House can actually run. And this is the first time we see House running, jogging. He's doing all kinds of shit. He's doing even kickflips on a fucking skateboard. I mean, this was really weird and also kind of nice to see because, like, it's nice seeing House actually, I don't know, move fast instead of walking with a cane. Episode 2 of season 3 is called Cain and Abel, and it's because this one boy actually had basically his own brother inside of him, and he had two separate sets of DNA, and that was the huge problem. Episode 3 was a interesting one as well, where House is treating a old cancer researcher who asks him to kill him. and House tries his best to just find whatever is causing this guy's problems. And as it turns out, it's a terminal disease, and he doesn't have much long either way. And it's hinted at that House helps him kill himself during like midnight, like 2:30 a.m. apparently. The patient dies or something, and it's just hinted at that House kills him. Well, you know, assists him in his suicide. Episode 4, it's a really interesting one. It's also funny because this entire episode, everybody is hinting that House is autistic, and with some of his behaviors, it's kind of seen that House is autistic. In this episode, House is treating a autistic boy, and unlike everybody else, House is like the only person who knows how to speak to a autistic person and actually knows what they mean when they're random, well, actions that look random and actually random actually mean something. Episode 5 is what I just finished watching, and I enjoyed this episode. It was a funny one. It's about two patients spontaneously getting ill, and this happens when they were actually at gunpoint, forced by two robbers. And what is the conclusion in this episode is that these two patients were actually related. They're half brother and half sister. They have the same father, however, different mothers, as they are different skin colors. The MVP of this episode is Foreman, and Foreman has been my favorite character through season 2 and season 3 so far. The conclusion of this episode is really funny because House is convinced that Wilson is seeing this new nurse that just came into the hospital she started. And this conclusion is pretty funny because House was not seeing it at all. House looks dumbfounded, and he lost the bet with Foreman. He had to pay Foreman up $200 because he thought that Wilson was dating the nurse.
We are talking about cutting off a kid's hand.
Yes, we're talking about cutting it off, not subdividing it and putting in condos. It's not a legal issue.
Are you being intentionally dense?
Huh?
Additionally, I have recently been seeing on my TikTok this one creator. He likes to make videos where he's playing instruments, and it isn't just one instrument. And these videos are pretty funny. I'm gonna play some whilst I talk, or I'll just play some whilst there is no audio at all, just so you can hear the beautiful music. And this guy is extremely talented. And what's funnier is when he's wearing sunglasses, he looks like House. His appearance is very close to House, I would like to think, and he likes to title his videos like House when his patients are dying or something like that. I think these are really funny videos, and the creator is called Eric Coquin QC. He's, I think, Canadian, as he has the Canadian flag in his TikTok. And check him out if you wanna. He makes some really impressive music, and honestly, I'm liking it. He especially plays the accordion, which I think I'm gonna have to say it's my favorite instrument. I mean, it looks so complex, and the sounds from it are just so nice. Like, I haven't heard them anywhere else, and it's just such a unique instrument. It's like a piano alongside a, you know, springy kind of thing where you're just like pulling and pushing and compressing the air to make different sounds. It's super impressive, and I think it's one of the most complex things to learn in terms of music for sure. And yeah, that's going to conclude my little video about House. I'm going to keep on watching this show as I've been really interested in it. And there's definitely going to be another part where I'm reviewing more of the seasons. So, see ya.